morning. Welcome back. You're still watching The Break on this 20th day of February 2023. And it's time that we want to have a conversation here with the panelists here in studio. I have, again, to introduce them, we have Dr. Margaret Nyakango, who is the Controller of Budget. Good morning. Good morning, Sam. Have you been here before? No. Never in studio? No. But you've spoken to us on several occasions anyway. Yes. Then you have Wakili Hilary Sigei, the Senator of Bomet County. Good morning. Good morning, Sam. And you have Godfrey Osotsi. Oh, sorry. Godfrey Osotsi, the Senator of Vihiga County. Good morning. Good morning, Sam. Great. And this morning we're waking up to the news, and of course you must have seen that report from our news about the suspended Commissioner Irene Masit, who now there has been a recommendation from the tribunal led by Irene Muchelule, Judge of the Court of Appeal, recommending that she be removed from office. It appears like the end of the road for her, but she still has an opportunity to appeal at the Supreme Court should she be dissatisfied with the decision of the tribunal, or should she choose to do so. And also this also comes at a time that the selection panel has been gazetted and appointed by President William Ruto, to mean that the process of recruiting new commissioners can now begin. In the next 7 days, they must publish or advertise those positions, inviting applications for the position of chairperson and 5 commissioners for the moment. Let's listen into what Irene Muchelule and the President said yesterday at State House.
The findings derived from the investigations have satisfied the tribunal that the allegations of serious violation of the Constitution and other laws and gross misconduct have been proved to the required standard to qualify our recommendation for the removal from office of Commissioner Irene Cherop Masit.
When a constitutional office holder is given an opportunity in the manner in which the Constitution provides, it is an opportunity for one to discharge their innocence and to present facts. And it is also an opportunity for the country to be seized with the issues, so that when a determination like the one you have reached is arrived at, it is not on the basis of rumors or prejudice, it is on the basis of facts.
All right, the President receiving that report from the tribunal. And Wakili, let's begin with you. Of course, many had anticipated that this would be the outcome after listening to the proceedings at the Irene Muchelule Tribunal, the sort of defense that Donald Kipkorir was able to stage. And now, coming at this time, what options does Irene Masit have, knowing that on many occasions there has been such kind of removals that don't really succeed at appeal at the Supreme Court?
Thank you, Sam. Allow me first to commend the tribunal for a job well done. Remember, when they were gazetted, there was a lot of rumors about its impartiality, its inability to do the work, its having a predetermined position to take on this particular matter. But looking at it from when they began their assignment, the team opting to exit, that is Cherera and the other commissioners, and allowing herself to be subjected to this process, of course, by Irene Masit was something that very many of us expected, that she probably had something that the rest didn't have in terms of defending her position. When you looked at what transpired from when witnesses were called upon by the tribunal up to the time she had to defend herself, you definitely would agree with the position that the tribunal finally arrived at, particularly in terms of the evidence that was put across, in terms of the evidence by all the witnesses, and unfortunate position by Masit to call any witness to testify against that which the tribunal has received in form of evidence. So I wanted to begin by commenting the tribunal on that. Right. As to the options available to her, of course, it would depend entirely on the advice that she will get from the legal team that has been leading her legal advisory and defense. And as you've put it, in most cases, by the time a tribunal like this one comes up with a finding, it has tested the evidence before it. It has also gone through what the law says to the standard required prior to giving a finding like it did. And that is why in most cases you'd find if there is an avenue available, like for her now in this case to appeal, there is nothing new that can come out there. Grounds of appeal over a decision are normally generally known. Whether you have not been given an opportunity to be heard, whether you have obtained new evidence that was not available as at the time of appearance before the tribunal, whether, according to you, there is misapprehension of facts and evidence by the tribunal. In this case, evidence was placed before the tribunal, witnesses testified, they were not, in essence, challenged by any other witness. The cross-examination of the evidence by the defense counsel will not be sufficient to justify a new ground or a interpretation proper of the evidence available. I do not see anything new that will come if she was to opt to appeal. But then she's also entitled to do that.
So if you're to appeal against such a decision, and you're saying that maybe you have new evidence, what would the Supreme Court be looking at? Is it
the Court of Appeal? Sorry.
Where do you go from here? Is it Court of Appeal or Supreme
Yes, the tribunal has the status not of the Court of Appeal.
No, I'm asking.
Yes.
If she now appeals, that would be the Supreme Court, right?
Yes, yes.
So if she appeals, what would she be presenting?
Honestly, if I were her lawyer, I would advise her not to appeal. I shall sit back and wait and see what could be the idea that is deemed new to warrant an appeal against this decision. Yes.
Okay. Senator Osotsi, what are your thoughts coming at such a time? This has been one issue that has divided the Kenya Kwanza administration and the Azimio administration. There's been a lot of calls from your side that this is an unfair process, shouldn't have happened. But the tribunal has returned a verdict.
Well, for us in Azimio, I think we are not surprised. We didn't expect a different results from what the so-called Muchelule Tribunal has given. The whole process is drama. The whole process is choreographed to generate the results that it generated yesterday. And you could see the Ruto was waiting in the wings to issue a gazette notice for the appointment of IBC panel. I think he was just waiting for that decision for him to
But the time was falling due, is it yesterday or today? Between yesterday and today?
Yeah, it was last night. Last night is when the gazette notice was published.
That's what I'm saying. The 14 days were expiring yesterday because the declaration was made 2 weeks ago. So whether there was a report from the tribunal or not, he needed to gazette that.
Yeah, very well, very well. So, but the point is that I think you will be so naive if you expected different results. Those of us who come from Western Kenya know the family link between Muchelule, Chebukati, and Wetangula.
Which is?
We know the family link. I'll not go into details because I'm on live air. But we know the family. And
you're saying it live on air. You're making the claim on live on air.
Yes, yes. We know the family link between the three. And the process started in Parliament. First of all, there was a petition filed against Chebukati in Parliament. That petition disappeared mysteriously from the office of the Speaker of the National Assembly. Then came the petition against the Cherera 4, which you saw how it was processed in a very partisan manner in the jailer committee, passed in the National Assembly, and then the four, the three were to resign, and we know what happened for them to resign. So we remained with the Masit. There was a lot of intimidation.
From who?
There was a lot of coercion from the state agencies. And these people resigned not because of their own volition. It's only Masit who stood firm.
But Nyanga's resignation was almost immediate.
Yeah, but there was remember, even before the decision of National Assembly, there was some pressure for them to leave. Now, we have now gotten to a situation where we had a tribunal. The tribunal, all it did was two things. One, to somehow formally get the four out. Number two, to play propaganda.
Which is?
That these people were there to manipulate election. They were trying to coerce Chebukati to change the results. Another story will be told another day. We know that. But for us in Azimio, we know that this was going to be the outcome. We have said we are not going to courts because we know what is happening in courts. We will go to the people. We will go to the people.
Okay, Senator,
and we'll engage the people on this process because,
Senator,
just a moment.
Just hold on. So a petition was presented to Parliament. You are saying that it was unfairly chosen to be taken to JLAC. But anyway, there was a petition that was taken to JLAC.
There were two petitions.
Fine, I hear.
There was a petition against Chebukati.
Yes, and I hear that.
Which mysteriously disappeared.
It didn't.
In the office of the Speaker.
It didn't disappear. I remember it being mentioned on the floor of the House.
See, Honorable Opio Andai was on the floor of the House. And he said he's surprised that there was a petition filed in the office of the Speaker. And he demanded to know the status of that petition. And no answer was provided to date. Then, afterwards, another petition came for the Cherera 4. So you can see the drama there.
That is what I'm asking.
And then the matter was taken to JLAC. You saw the contestation within JLAC.
Just hold on. Senator, please listen. So I hear you. Maybe there was bias in choosing which one to take to which committee or to be processed by the committee. But the committee sat, gave an opportunity to the Cherera 4 to come and defend themselves. They did not. Azimio walked out. Remember that? Then it went to the tribunal. Tribunal was formed. The three resigned. Masit was given an opportunity to present evidence, to bring witnesses. She did not. Then an outcome has come. When you look at the fair administration of justice, do you see it there?
We saw what happened in JLAC.
No, I'm asking about the process after that.
The process may be right, yes. But the people manning the process, the whole thing around professionalism in running the process is what we are questioning. You saw, I even went to that JLAC meeting as a friend of the committee. And you saw the behavior of the chair of the JLAC committee, Honorable Murugara. They had a decision in mind which they needed to deliver, and they did that.
Do you remember how the committee sitting was, the session?
Yeah, they sat in Charter Hall.
Asking how it was, how?
At one point, Azimio MPs walked out because they felt the process was not fair.
Okay.
And that is allowed.
All right.
And you remember even Honorable Raila also attended one of the sittings. What we are saying is that the whole thing was a ploy to remove the four and finally install commissioners who are favorable.
Okay, all right.
Kenya Kwanza side. But we are saying as a solution, we have decided we are going to go to the people because Article 1 of the Constitution.
But the people don't directly appoint commissioners.
Power in the people.
Senator, the people don't directly appoint commissioners.
The people appoint commissioners through their representative.
And you're saying you're not...
But if the representative are not doing the right thing, you go back to the same people and tell them, what do we do?
So that they tell you what? What are they supposed to tell you?
The people are there because the Constitution gives them the powers under Article 1. And we cannot rule out the powers of the people in a process like this. What we are saying is, we are complaining against electoral injustice in this country. And I think it's important, Azimio people, to be listened to. I think it's very, very insensitive for Ruto to proceed with this matter without caring what divergent views are.
Okay.
What we are saying is that we need to have a balanced commission.
I hear you, Senator.
You can even see the names of people who are published for selection
Senator,
committee.
I want to hear
and
from...
you know what they are likely to say.
Allow me to...
Just hold on. Let me hear from Dr. Nyakango here. I don't know if you have any views about what has just happened. This is an independent office just like yours, and the process has been followed and come to this. What are your initial thoughts about it?
Sam, I think when it comes to what happens in politics, I try to take a very neutral stance.
Right.
Because being hard to be in any of the sides is actually unconstitutional. So I do have my own views, but I would rather not. Give them at this. Yes.
No, and I respect that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But Senator, as you exit from this conversation, so now you've had the concerns, and they've been quite eloquent about it, even when they're facing the people in those public meetings. But where do you go from here?
Sam, you know, we have been through the road that the Honorable Sotsi is trying to take us back to. We are entitled as Kenyans to picket, to demonstrate. That is given, and nobody's challenging them, by the way. What I expected the Honorable Sotsi to tell us, especially about this issue of Cherera, is, remember, we closed on the political climate and assignments by August when we went to the ballot. I expected them to be probably in the fourth or the third stage of healing after the loss. But he seems to still be in denial 5 months down the line, which is ordinarily and normally the first stage where you deny the fact that you have lost an election. You are so angry. That's the second stage is anger, where one is allowed to do anything, including what they are now doing by demonstrating, by saying we are walking to the State House. I mean, there are certain things that when you hear the Azimio team saying, you wonder, which planet are they in, especially when we have gone through an election that was as clear and as transparent as the one we conducted in the month of August. We went back to the courts. Our finding was made, and they accepted the verdict. A government was set up. I thought they would be in the process of now that depression, where they are saying we are almost there, but we are still depressed by the loss. But unfortunately not. And so, when we talk about the laws, I mean, Osotsi has also made reference to certain happenings at JLAC in the National Assembly. He's also then challenged the presidential gazetteman of the team that will be in the selection panel. And I'm not very sure whether he's even gone through to see who and who are they, because when he mentions about the people who've been appointed and being the sort of the people whom you can tell prior to them speaking what they will say, it is very wrong. It's an attack on the character of these Kenyans who've qualified, because they've been taken through an interview process. And remember, as JLAC, they passed the law in the National Assembly. We also passed the same law at the Senate, where my colleague sits and where we debated and passed. And we have been given a list that now the president yesterday had to gazette, because that was the 14th day. They have not challenged that law in any way. So their option to go to the streets is still within law, and they're entitled to do it. But we are saying at least they should accept the fact that in a loss, in a process like this one where they have lost, we've given them the accommodation.
And what would be the outcome of public consultations?
These are not public consultations, Sam. They're just trying to keep themselves some relevance and tell the people you're still there. Raila and his team are trying to say, guys, if we sit back, we will be forgotten. History will be very unfair to them, according to them, that is. But unfortunately, Kenyans have decided to move on. Kenyans have said, we were done with the elections in the month of August. We want to move on. We are struggling right now with the price of unga. The other day, they published that they are meeting in City Stadium to get unga and take them to State House. Kenyans are not interested in that. I don't know whether that is going to happen or it was just another show of, you know, what they normally do on a daily basis. But
they said they were going to get unga to the State House.
That's what they said. I saw an advert yesterday that you contribute your 1 or 2 packets of unga. They meet in State House. They march to. They meet in City Stadium. They march to State House to protest against the price of unga. And remember, some Kenya Kwanza have tried. Though it's not yet gotten there, it has tried to bring down the cost of living of Kenyans. And we are saying we have moved on, allow the government of the day to run the affairs of the people of Kenya. We shouldn't be discussing this. I mean, Dr. here has got a very heavy assignment.
Indeed.
To release funds to the county governments.
Okay.
But Osotsi and team
are
wasting the weekend.
I'll give you a right of reply. And I'm just wondering, so yes, you will continue to do these public meetings, consultations. Of course, that is in context, whether they're consultations or speaking to the people. But to what end? After that, what happens? Because the recruitment of commissioners is specific, is guided in law. Then what?
Let me tell you, let me first of all answer my colleague here, Senator Sigei. You know, Senator Sigei, we have not stopped Kenya Kwanza from working. Remember, we have done over 12 meetings. And all these meetings have been very peaceful. You remember earlier on, they were telling people that, oh, these people want to cause chaos, they want to demonstrate, destroy people's property. But we have done so many meetings without any single incident of violence or destruction of property. So I think when they say we are trying to stop them from working, I think they are not being truthful. We are allowed by our constitution to assemble, to picket, and to demonstrate. And that right, you cannot take it away from Kenyans. And that right can be exercised anytime, even at night, if you wish. So we are not going to be stopped from doing that. Coming to your question, Sam, I do not want to discuss our coalition strategy on TV today.
Okay,
but
I hear you.
We have a clear plan. We know the outcome, and we are going to achieve it. Because we cannot allow this country to periodically go through this process of anti-democratic activity. That we go through an election, that election is stolen, and then we go through a process which is manipulated, and then we are told, move on. Kenyans want economy, Kenyans want blah, blah, we move on. The issue of cost of living is a serious issue. And I wonder why Kenya Kwanza is taking it very lightly. It's a very serious issue. And you remember, during President Uhuru Kenyatta's time, our colleagues on the Kenya Kwanza side really capitalized on the issue of cost of living. I remember at one point, I heard Kimani Ichung'wah say, President Uhuru Kenyatta is focusing on building roads, brick and mortar. We are not interested in roads. We don't eat roads. We want food. But now, they then told us that within 100 days, they are going to do this and this to reduce the cost of unga to 70 shillings. Now, they have not done that. Okay. And they want us to keep quiet and not talk about it. Okay. We are going to talk about these things because Kenyans are suffering. And you know, when he says that Kenyans want to move on, I think he's being unfair to himself. Okay. Kenyans, including Kenyans in Bomet, are so concerned of what is happening in this country.
Senator, I hear you.
Where the cost of living,
we need to live
everything, the cost of commodities is going up, cost of school fees, education sector is in a mess.
Senator, we need to leave it at that. We need to take a short break here. When we come back, we'll be talking about the state of the counties and the challenges or situations that they are going through, and also to bring in Margaret Nyakango, the controller of budget, to talk to us about the latest in terms of what they've been able to observe from the counties. Stay tuned.